Alina was a passionate and hard-working chef at a well-known restaurant in South Korea. Cooking was not just her profession, it was her life. Every morning, she followed the same routine, waking up early, tying her hair neatly, putting on her chef's uniform, and heading to the restaurant with quiet determination. Her life was simple, disciplined, and predictable. She never imagined that destiny was silently preparing something extraordinary for her. That morning, Alina arrived at the restaurant to find the other chefs already there. The kitchen was filled with familiar sounds, the chopping of vegetables, the boiling of soups, and the sizzling of pans. Everyone was busy, and nothing felt unusual. Hours passed like any other day until Alina was asked to prepare fresh tuna. As she carefully sliced through the tuna meat, her knife struck something hard. Startled, she paused and cut again. Suddenly, a shiny, glowing pearl slipped out and fell onto the cutting board. It shivered strangely under the kitchen lights. Alina stared at it in surprise, then laughed softly and said, "Maybe this tuna used to eat pearls." Thinking it was nothing more than a coincidence, she placed the pearl aside and continued her work. By the end of the day, she had completely forgotten about it. That evening, Alina returned home, tired but satisfied. She had dinner, washed her hands, and went to bed peacefully, unaware that the pearl had already bound itself to her fate. The next morning, Alina began her usual breakfast routine. She boiled eggs on the stove and prepared noodles for herself. As she placed the noodles into a bowl, the air around her felt heavy. Out of nowhere, the same pearl appeared again, glowing faintly. Before she could react, the pearl vanished into the bowl. The moment Alina took a bite of the noodles, her vision blurred. Her head began to spin violently. She tried to hold on to the kitchen counter, but her strength failed her. Everything went dark as she collapsed onto the floor. When Alina opened her eyes, silence surrounded her. She was no longer in her apartment. The room was large and beautifully decorated with antique furniture. Sunlight filtered through long curtains, and she was wearing unfamiliar royal clothing. Her heart began to race. Before she could move, a maid entered and bowed respectfully. "Princess Nurin," the maid said gently. "Her Majesty, the Queen, has summoned you. She is waiting." Alina sat up in shock. "Princess? Queen? You must be mistaken. I'm not a princess." The maid looked confused. "I am speaking of your stepmother, Queen Sara." Still trembling, Alina bathed, changed her clothes, and followed the maid outside. As she walked through the grand palace corridors, a terrifying realization slowly dawned on her. This was not a dream. She had somehow traveled to another time, another world, where she was the only daughter of the king. In the royal court, she saw Queen Sara, graceful, powerful, and beautiful. The queen smiled and asked about her health, but Alina could barely respond. Overwhelmed and frightened, she returned to her room and locked the door. She cried in confusion, unsure of how or why this had happened. Days passed. Gradually, Alina began to observe the palace life. She spoke to the servants, learned the customs, and tried to survive in this strange era. One day, she noticed the palace kitchen. Memories of her old life returned. Cooking was the only thing that made sense to her. Using the ingredients of that time, Alina began experimenting. She baked cakes, prepared desserts, and cooked dishes no one had ever tasted before. She combined modern cooking knowledge with ancient techniques, creating magical flavors. The royal family was amazed. Word spread quickly throughout the palace. Everyone praised Princess Nurin's food. People waited eagerly for her dishes. Her popularity grew rapidly. But not everyone was happy. Malika, a powerful woman in the palace, was slowly being ignored. Jealousy poisoned her heart. Unable to bear Alina's rising fame, she ordered the maids to bring Alina to her. Alina prepared special pastries with care and respect. Holding the tray, she walked towards Malika's chamber, unaware that she was stepping into a trap. Malika tasted the pastries and smiled. "This is wonderful," she said softly. "You deserve a reward." Trusting her words, Alina followed Malika into a dark basement beneath the palace. Strange objects, candles, and black magic tools filled the room. Fear gripped Alina's heart. "Why did you bring me here?" she asked. Malika's expression turned cold. "I want your soul," she said. "I want to live for 100 years." Two terrifying devils appeared and restrained Alina. She screamed in fear, but no one came. Malika raised her wand, whispered a spell, and in a flash of dark light, Alina's soul was torn from her body. Her lifeless body fell to the floor. Suddenly, Alina opened her eyes. She was standing in the restaurant kitchen in South Korea. The noise of the kitchen surrounded her once again. She thought it had all been a dream, but when she stepped outside the restaurant, her blood ran cold. She saw Malika. Now she was a famous K-pop idol, young, powerful, and admired by millions. Alina finally understood the truth. She did not break. Instead, she returned to what she loved most. Using the wisdom of the past and the skills of the present, Alina refined her craft. Over time, she became the greatest chef in the world, turning pain into power and destiny into success. And the pearl was never seen again.